welcome to another data science deep dive on our technical track. In the following presentation, Kachhadia, data scientist at ViacomCBS, shares his insights and knowledge for what it takes to break into the data science field and how full stack data science is actually done. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. So thanks for tuning in as I take you to what the next generation of data scientists would look like. I'm Jay, and I'm a data scientist at ViacomCBS Streaming. Basically, I built data products powered by machine learning in the world of SpongeBob SquarePants and Star Trek. ViacomCBS is not a traditional data science company, as you all know. Like it's a global media and entertainment company that creates premium content and experiences for audiences with brands such as CBS, Paramount, Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon, and Colors, with the latest edition of Paramount Plus. And that's why I am in Viacom CBS Streaming. My team does all things data for most of the digital and streaming products, from ingestion to modeling to building data products. And yes, so I'll be talking today about full stack data science, the next generation of data scientists cohort. As AI proliferates and more industries try to beef up their data scientist teams, a new concept has been emerging: the full stack data scientist. Put simply, a full stack data scientist is one who takes a data-driven concept from ideation through to execution that results in measurable and impactful improvement in form of the product. There is a heavy emphasis here on being able to drive an organization to do something rather than just analyze something. Forbes also acknowledged this back in 2019. There is no standard definition of a full stack data scientist yet, but what I think of it as, or how I would explain it to a layman, would be someone who is capable of understanding and executing not just the data analytics and model development, but also the model deployment and integration with business application. For example, a data scientist should learn how to develop their models into REST APIs for application consumption. They should also try to build dashboard applications to showcase their model predictions. So some interesting stats that I came across on Talent Gap in data science. Career Builder folks said that 60% of US employers have data science job openings that stay vacant for 12 weeks or longer. That's too much. According to a survey by Udemy, nearly 80% of Americans agree that there is a skills gap, and more than 35% say it affects them personally. The skills gap could leave a damaging 2.5 trillion impact on US economy over the next decade, according to Deloitte's research. Why talk about it? Why talk about full stack data science? Data science has been an eye-catching field for many years now to young individuals having a formal education with a bachelor's, master's, or a PhD in computer science, statistics, business analytics, engineering management, physics, maths, and obviously data science. However, there are a lot of myths about people like people generally presume about data science that it's no more just machine learning and statistics. Over the years, I have spoken to a lot of data science aspirants about breaking into this field, but it's an undisputed fact. Data science is suffering from a desperate shortage of talent. Why is there all the hype about it? Is it still statistics and machine learning that can help you break into this field? Is it still going to be the future? Well, let me start with a story, how same questions were raised in my journey as well. I was just another kid when I began to do my undergrad in computer engineering at National Institute of Technology, Surat, which is one of the reputed engineering institutions in India. Well, at that time, during the first 1.5 years, I was interested in animations and VFX and wanted to join an entertainment company as a VFX artist. But soon I began to realize that it was no good without any formal training, and dropping out of school was not an option. Then I fell in love, obviously with Python. I came across Python and I fell for it. So sexy, so fluidic, and easy to read. I know that was too geeky. Then I began exploring things I could do with Python. I came across machine learning, and I was amazed to see the power of it. Later on, I learned Flask to build ML applications and a bit of cloud to deploy those to make those projects showcaseable. During my undergrad, I worked with a research lab in Bangalore to develop a machine learning tool to classify Landsat satellite imagery into land use land cover maps for a United Nations development program to plan 7 sustainable cities in India. By the end of my undergrad, I had an offer from Dassault Systems to join as an R&D engineer to build 3D simulation softwares. I was pretty fluent with machine learning and full stack engineering at that time and wanted to start my career straight into machine learning. But it wasn't that easy for an undergrad in India to crack machine learning or data scientist roles without any experience. I'm sure that can be the case with many other countries. So I decided to get global exposure and do my master's in data science from the States. During my time in my master's, I applied most of the skills that I learned during my undergrad to develop projects and make them showcaseable with a substantial research experience working at Center for Computational and Data Sciences. And when I started applying for internships, that's when I came across these questions. Why is there all the hype about data science? Is it still statistics and machine learning that can help you break into this field? Is it still going to be the future? Yes, I was seeing that in most of the job descriptions, which look like a mixture of software engineer, DevOps engineer, and a machine learning engineer. And when I saw the role, they called it data scientist. No need to tell, but now I am at ViacomCBS, and I'm in an industry I always wanted to be, and doing the work I love. Everyone around the corner wants to get into data science. A few years ago, there was a demand-supply problem in the field. Supply of data scientists was less, and the demand was more. After Dr. DJ Patil and Jeff Hammerbecher tossed the term data science. But now, in 2021, the situation has turned around. The inflow of formally or MOOCs-educated data science enthusiasts has increased, and the demand has grown too, but not to that extent. The term has evolved broader and broader to incorporate most of the supporting functionalities that one needs to do data science. Why I feel data science has taken all the hype. Data scientist is still a mystery title because when I read job descriptions, I don't know what do you expect me to do. High job satisfaction as you most of the times are innovative and create your own pathway to solve any problem, which is doing what you love. The work you do as a data scientist has a real power to impact business decisions a company makes. The field is so fast that every month, new algorithms beat state-of-the-art models and replace them. You have to keep learning to stay ahead as the field is fairly competitive. Many job sites rating it as the hottest job, like last 4 years in the US by Glassdoor. Every business has realized the value of data and the wonders it could do later on, thanks to many great schools and boot camps providing degrees in data science to educate and prepare professionals for data science. Here's my favorite quote from KD Nuggets. Data science is like teenage sex. Everyone talks about it. Everyone thinks everyone else is doing it. So everyone claims they are doing it. If you think about it, it completely makes sense. Someone is going to say it. So let me spill some truth about the current industry situation. Also, you can see some of the ViacomCBS characters on the slide because even they want to be a data scientist. Due to increase in demand and prestige of the shiny data scientist title, many companies have started switching or twisting data scientist titles with product analysts, business intelligence analysts, business analysts, supply chain analysts, data analysts, and statistician because people were leaving jobs to get the shiny data scientist title at companies which were giving them for doing the same job. It's all the matter of respect that many roles get due to minor change in the words. Similarly, now in the job market, you can see titles like data scientist analytics, product data scientist growth, data scientist supply chain, data scientist visualization, data scientist whatnot. Most people pursuing education or online training have a misconception that all data scientists build fancy machine learning models, but that's not always true. At least that was the case with me. When I started my master's in applied data science, I assumed that most data scientists do machine learning. But when I entered the internship and job market in the US, that's when I came to know about the real truth. The force driving people to pursue this field is due to the hype around artificial intelligence and its business impact. For people who want to do applied machine learning as a data scientist in 2021 without a PhD, there's a lot more now to it instead of just knowing to apply machine learning to data sets, which almost anyone today can do. Since many data scientists don't have the luxury of the support of large teams of developers, they must be able to build things and perform tasks that aren't traditionally thought of as a part of their role. There are few other crucial things which I figured out from my experience, which can help you nail a data scientist role hunting. So let's go over technologies that one can use for distributed data processing and machine learning. Apache Hadoop. It is a framework that allows for the distributed processing of large data sets across clusters of computers using simple programming models. It is designed to scale up from single server to thousands of machines. Apache Spark, this is my favorite. It achieves high performance for both batch and streaming data using the state-of-the-art DAX scheduler, a query optimizer, and a physical execution engine, which is 10 times faster than Hadoop. Dask. Dask uses existing Python APIs and data structures to make it easy to switch between NumPy, Pandas, scikit-learn to their Dask-powered equivalents. Having experience with any one of them should be good to go. But I would recommend Apache Spark, either in Python or Scala, the go-to. Technologies used in production ML and data pipelines. Lugi. It's a Python module that helps you build complex pipelines of batch jobs, handle dependency resolution, and create visualizations to help manage multiple workflows. Lugi comes with Hadoop support built in. It was built at Spotify. Apache Airflow. Well, this needs no introduction. It's an open source workflow management platform built at Airbnb. Now, cron jobs. This is an old school way. It's a Linux command used for scheduling tasks to be executed sometime in the future. So if you can get hands-on experience with Apache Airflow, a standard open source job orchestration tool for creating data and machine learning pipelines, you should be good to go. This is currently used in the industry, so it's recommended to learn and get some projects around it. DevOps. DevOps is very much neglected by most of the data science aspirants. If you don't have an infrastructure, how would you build machine learning pipelines? It's not as easy as we do in the coursework to build notebooks or code that run on your local machine. The code you write should be scalable across the infrastructure that you or other folks on your team might create. Many companies might not have the ML infrastructure already laid out and might be looking for someone to start with. Let's go over some of the technologies. So this is the first one, Docker. So Docker enables developers to easily pack, ship, and run any application as a lightweight, portable, self-sufficient container, which can run virtually anywhere. Kubernetes. Well, Kubernetes is an open source container orchestration system for automating computer application development, scaling, and management. Now, building applications like a web app or an API powered by machine learning and packaging it in a Docker container to deploy on Kubernetes. Getting familiar with Docker, Kubernetes, and building ML applications with frameworks such as Flask or Dash, which is again built on top of Flask, should be your standard practice even during your side projects. I love Docker because it's scalable and you can build infrastructure images and replicate the same things on cloud or like on Kubernetes clusters. For DevOps, I generally refer to Nana Janashia's YouTube channel for the latest. Knowing databases and query languages is a must. SQL is very much neglected, and it's still the industry standard, be it on cloud platform or any of the database on-premise. You will be responsible for bringing in data from warehouses with on-the-go pre-processing, which will ease up your job on pre-processing before creating machine learning models. Most of the feature engineering can be done on the go while getting the data to your models with SQL, which is an aspect many people aren't aware of. So getting some experience with working on databases like Postgres, which is a SQL style database, MongoDB, which is a NoSQL styled database, and Neo4j, which is a graph style database. Well, we are talking about a data scientist. How can we forget modeling? Scikit-learn. Who doesn't know it? It's an open source ML library with the support for parallel processing and includes most of the ML techniques. TensorFlow. It's a free and open source software library for machine learning. It can be used across range of tasks, but has a particular focus on training and inference of deep neural networks. PyTorch. Similar to TensorFlow, it's an open source machine learning library based on the Torch library used for applications around computer vision and natural language processing, primarily developed by Facebook. The recommended programming languages for data science, I would say Python, R, Scala, and Java. All of them have their own goodness. Knowing any one of them is fine and can do the trick. My favorite is Python, as you can do a lot of things with it, and it's easy to interpret. My way of learning any of these technologies that I mentioned is going through the documentation and making a small project around it. Every project on a resume should have a link to the deployed project, which anyone can go and play around. Get assured that you really know stuff and it's not just words. Now, and then we keep on hearing that demand for data scientists far more exceeds the supply. But all the full-time positions right now require you to have an experience of at least like 2 years or a PhD, which is not feasible for someone straight out of college with a master's or a bachelor's degree. There's also a huge talent gap between what the school teaches and what the industry asks for in a data scientist. That is the reason most of the current data scientists are in mid-career level positions. This is how a typical data scientist job description looks like. If you see, there is a line down there which says previous experience in machine learning or data scientist role with a large company uh, is required. And this is an endless loop. No one is ready to give you experience without any experience. Other option is to start with some of the sister roles and transition into data science. How to overcome this talent gap when you are in school? Do projects. I can't stress more about it. Do projects and do variety of them in different domains to understand what kind of data is used in what domain. Develop infrastructure. Once you have created a project, now it's time to take it to next level. It's time to develop the infrastructure, write Docker images, test them on your local mini Kubernetes cluster, or deploy it to any cloud platform, as students generally get free credits on many of the cloud platforms. You can build APIs for your models, which is how generally the models are served in the industry in the form of endpoints to the APIs. And for building APIs, I would recommend, if you are using Python, I would recommend Flask or Django, whichever sounds good to you. Building applications powered by machine learning, for example, in Flask. Create images of them and then deploy to cloud. Showcase the link of those projects on your resume. That's how my resume looked like, projects with the live links. Now let's talk about data science at ViacomCBS streaming. So here at ViacomCBS streaming, my team supports marketing and distribution. We build ingestion pipelines, machine learning pipelines, and data products that fuels business decisions for our streaming and digital products. For example, we have our own device graph, which has all the devices that at some or the other point were used any of our websites or applications. We can measure the content reach and serve better ads. We also have various machine learning models using which we model the consumer behaviors and target campaigns specifically built for your behavior on our apps. So let's talk about a project I did during my master's and is a great example of what I talked about. While I was in my master's, I was also a research assistant at Center for Computational and Data Science at Syracuse University, working on a computational journalism project. The tech stack that they used before was something like Python, cron jobs running on the servers that collect data, and other cron jobs which tag data with machine learning models. The project is funded by the prestigious Knight Foundation. It's on analyzing presidential and gubernatorial elections in the United States on social media in terms of the content. In the latest iteration, we focused on ads run on Facebook and Instagram. If you go to illuminating.ischool.syr.edu, you can access the web app we built. You can check about the About section to see how we leverage BERT model to classify content in ads into various categories to understand the context of political campaigns. This is a really cool project which received a lot of traction during the US elections recently. The data that you see on the web app updates every 4 hours, making this project a behemoth. And in the backend, we use Apache Airflow now on our servers to collect data every 4 hours, apply machine learning models to it, and push it into our MongoDB instances on other servers, which basically fuels our web app. You should always write code with comments and modularize it in form of functions to make debugging easy, which is pretty much the standard practice in the industry. And all this I did during my school. So that's what made me stood apart from other applicants when I was applying for jobs. So this is the time when knowing only machine learning or statistics is not going to get you into data science to do machine learning unless you are lucky, have some great connections in the industry, which obviously you should have, as networking is super important, or have an exceptional research record already in your name. Business applications and domain knowledge tends to come with experience and can't be learned beforehand, other than doing internships in relevant industry. And this is how the next cohort of data scientists or the demand is going to look like in the industry. Aspirants will have to get hands-on experience with tools and technologies supporting to help us do data science and productionalize it. Well, I also write about my journey and key learnings to get into data science on my blog on Medium. And I also have a blog series on data science in production. You can also check that out. So I may be like one of the youngest speakers at this conference today. I graduated in 2020's quarantine summer. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to Data Science Talent for having me. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and check out my blogs on Medium. Thank you so much.
That was a presentation by Jay Kachhadia, data scientist at ViacomCBS, with his deep, in-depth knowledge of know-hows, how to break into the data science field, and also how to actually do real data science. If you enjoyed that, make sure to check out the link in the comments section where you could see more videos like this and at whatever time you'd like. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel below. Thanks.